very close-knit bunch of guys, always there to help each other to get their cars back out onto the circuit. A huge field of Ford versus Holden Commodores out there at the moment for the Saloon cars. The straight six-cylinder in the Ford Falcon seems to be a little bit dominant of late here at CarCO Raceway, and as evidenced by the starting grid, the top three cars are again all Ford Falcons running the straight six-cylinder, where the Commodore running a slightly different suspension package on those cars. And the best of the Holden Commodores you'll find is Gary Hills in P4. But starting off pole position is the current state champion 2 times in a row, Mason Harvey in car number 1. Alongside him, the old stager in Rob Marcon in car number 82, the bronze colour Ford Falcon. Then Jackson Kello and Gary Hills. Brock Bowley in car number 49. Mark Watkins is in there as well, car number 21. Tyson Sadler driving the Kmart car in car number 36. Adam Koberstein in 51. Dylan Barr having his first run at CarCO Raceway in a competitive sense in car number 70. Reg Ralph in car number 41. Craig James is out there in car 10. Rick Gill, Vince Chiella, Kenny Power for Power Driving School in car number 24. Anthony Game in 40. Martin in 65. Warren Ellis in 30. Norman in car 20. Peter Dybel in 63. Parham, a new driver in car number 97. Then Glenn Tincombe and Michael Koberstein in car number 13. And I'll have to see if we can cast our eye out there and see whether Michael's been able to fix that. Looked like an oil leak of some sort, or a seal maybe on the diff that it starting to let go. It looks like he is out there right at the back of the field. So he'll be a hard charger in car number 13 as we go on board with our onboard footage, and you can see just how dark it is and how difficult it is to try and find not only your braking markers but also the apex of the corner. Well,
it's interesting, isn't it, Vaughan? You look down the main straight and it's as well lit up as the Perth CBD. You look at turn 6 and it's almost as though you're out in the middle of the sticks, where roadside lights are few and far between. That vast discrepancy, a nice challenge for the drivers tonight at carco.com.au Raceway as they pass the Porsche car drivers right on the approach to turn 7.
So that camera is on board car number 36, mate. The Kmart livered car of Tyson Sadler, the guy with the best mullet in the West Coast. And yes, we will mention to him about going down there to Curry and getting involved in that mullet competition for 2025 for sure, Zach.
I'll send some details over to our Turn 7 colleagues before the weekend is done, I promise you. So, no, I'm sure he'll want a piece of that. It's extraordinarily popular, and as someone that is very mindful of the fact that occasionally my head for radio is on camera, you won't be seeing me sporting a mullet anytime soon, let me tell you.
Nah, ditto, mate. I can't grow my hair like that anymore. That stopped years ago. So looking at this huge grid, they're right outside McCracken House. So a good 24, 20, maybe even 26 cars lined up on the grid for this one. And this is going to be an absolute ripper. And then we've got one more race of these to round out the evening for the CarCO Nightmasters. So we wait for the green baton to be shown down towards the rear of the field. There it is. Everybody is in their rightful position and stationary. So next phase of the starting sequence will be the red lights coming on the main straight, like right now. Revs will rise, drop the clutch, and away we go racing here at CarCO Raceway. And a very even start for both of our front runners. But the Tribridge car of Mason Harvey, he has the priority entry into turn number 1 and maintains first place over Rob Marcon and Jackson Kello in third place. Everybody down into a single row as they exit turn number 1 for the first time. Up and over turn 3, getting up on 2 wheels of some of the cars as they hit the ripple strip on driver's right. And somebody falling behind, I think that may be Ken Power, towards the back of the field there in car number 24. One huge big line of Fords and Commodores as they head over the other side of the circuit. At the moment it all goes quiet over this side of the circuit as we wait some 20 odd seconds for them to come up and over the top of the hill. turn 7 media, doing a cracking job all afternoon and into the night. As our leaders down into turn number 7, out onto the main straight, it's going to be Mason Harvey, who has a 3-car advantage over Rob Marcon for Rick Gill Motorcycles. Then Jackson Callow in P3, Gary Hill still in 4. Brock Bowley's moved up to 5. Adam Koberstein in 6. Tyson Sadler in 7. Reg Ralph to 8. Rick Gill has been a big mover in this one. He finds himself in the top 10 now, starting well outside the top 10. And Craig James rounds out our top 10 as they all go single file again into the left-hander sweeper here and up and over the top of the hill.
And we'll pick them back up as they go through time. The right-hander on the run down towards turn 6. Singles file. They've sorted themselves out after the ribbon tear of the opening lap. There's a move potentially on down here on the inside on the run down to turn 6. We'll pick the head 1, 2, 3, 4. Harvey is key. It was important that he got the jump. He did so. He held off Marcon. Doesn't mean that he's shaken off the threat of Marcon just yet. He's still there in close tow. And you can't rule out Callow just yet either. 1, 2, and 3 back to the start-finish strike. And still 9 1/4 minutes left on the clock. That margin now for Harvey a bit more steady at 0.9 of a second. Callow, Hills, Bolly, then Sadler's got by Koberstein. Now, onboard shot will tell you that Koberstein has been passed by Sadler. The 36 has moved himself up into 6th spot now. So it's not just the car and the mullet, but the driver that's on song tonight at CarCO.com.au Raceway, enjoying the novelty of this, and we're enjoying the pictures that are coming from the 36 on board with them through turn 4 now. Look at the level of commitment required through there at this time of the night. Further back, still 21 running, which is good news.
Yeah, great news. These are a very reliable race car, these Saloon cars, and another cheap way of getting into motorsport here at CarCO.com.au Raceway. As we see our leaders, it's still Mason Harvey's got a good 30 to 40 metres over 2nd and 3rd place. They start to bunch up under brakes now further back for 4th and 5th, and that'll be Hills and Bowley going for it in 4th and 5th. And Mark Walker-Watkins in the Afido car, he's getting onto the back of Gary Hills now, so he's actually got in front of Brock Bowley. Sadler into 6th, Koberstein Adam variety in car number 51 in 7th. Reg Ralph moving up to 8 now. Vince Chiella, the go-karting legend out of Bunbury, he finds himself in 9, and Rick Gill now into the top 10. Of course, Rick Gill, a famous motocross driver rider over here in Western Australia, and also here at CarCO Raceway on 2 wheels. In the latter stages of his motorsport careers, decided to go 4-wheeling, and he's doing a great job out there. Of course, teammates for Robbie Marcon, both cars sponsored by Rick Gill Motorcycles out of Austin.
Interesting too that last time by the one, the margin first to second was only 0.12 of a second, Vaughan, so I'm not necessarily sure whether Harvey's had them or whether Marcon's just wound the wick up a little bit, but Harvey had been reeled in for a temporary period of time there. It looks as though it's stabilised back in his favour now. It's out to 0.6 once more. But it just goes to show that you can't rest on your laurels, because you've got 2 blokes there in close tow. Counts if you slip up. So the number 1 under a little bit of pressure at the moment.
Yeah, Jackson Callow looks like he's closing in on the back of Rob Marcon there for 2nd place. So Rob Marcon now having to look forward and backwards as he's got Jackson Callow filling that rear vision mirror inside the Ford Falcon as they crest the top of the hill and blast down towards turn number 6. We'll reel off another lap here. 6.5 minutes remaining in this one, but it's still the Tribridge car, the current state champion in Mason Harvey, doing a great job. And Robbie Marcon, as I said, now coming under threat now from Jackson Callow in car number 225. He's only 2 car lengths off the boot of Marcon's car in 2nd. And then we go back to Gary Hills, the first of the Commodores in P4, with Brock Bowley in another Commodore and Tyson Sadler. So 3 Falcons and 3 Commodores. And look at Callow all over the back of Robbie Marcon as they head down into turn number 1 and reel off another lap here. You've got to keep your eye on 2nd and 3rd. Zach, I believe there's going to be a move coming very, very shortly.
And I was just about to say as well, Vaughan, that they wouldn't want to take any unnecessary risks. We saw that end badly in the HQs a short time ago. These guys have got to be mindful that there's another race to come in about an hour's time. They don't want to make any hard work for themselves in that race if they can avoid it. So if the move is on, absolutely go for it. But if it's not, there's always race 3 in about an hour's time. And CarCO will be mindful of that. Marcon, aware of his presence, and all of that pressure that's being applied to Marcon at the moment is allowing Harvey to breathe slightly easier than what he was a few laps ago. Let's see if it's on again as they call CarCO. Not close enough this time by, and Marcon's going to hold on at the end of lap 6, but continue to do so for the remaining 5 minutes of this race.
Tyson Sadler, and that looks like, and he's not showing up. Mark Watkins is showing down in position, but he's actually out there. There's a big cloud of dust out there on the way. There's actually a car at Spun.
There is a car stop.
It looks like it's Kenny Power in car number 24. Just wait for a pick up who it is. Yes, it does look like it is car number 24, and that was on the exit of turn number 6. Anthony Game coming through turn 7 in car 40. Just thinking back to last year, and I don't know whether you were with us, Zach, but there was a coming together between CarCO and Robbie Marcon. They were fighting for first position in a race, and both came together and went spearing off the track there at turn 4, the entry to the left-hander. As we go back on board, up and over the exit there in turn number 5, and this is on board Tyson Sadler for Vulcan Panel and Paint. And he's got a 7.4 second advantage over the car behind him, having a fairly lonely run out there at the moment. It's fairly dark out there, and there's no headlights or brake lights in front of him as we see the limiter light come on, that beautiful red flash indicating it's time to change gears as it comes down, hits the rev limiter again at the Rick Gill. So that'll be one strike going the wrong side of the ripple strip on the exit of turn number 7.
So you won't want to do that too many times, or otherwise you might wear the wrap of a warning from Motorsport Australia Race Control, of course. That's a good little fight that's forming for 6th there. Sadler, Koberstein, they've been joined by Ciala Ella, if I can get that out. Right. And then Gill and Koberstein making up the top 10. So Gill's within striking distance of that as well. Only 1.8 seconds covering those 4 cars. Sadler wouldn't want to cough once or twice because otherwise Koberstein will be there to pounce.
Over the stripe at the moment. It's still Mason Harvey and Rob Marcon still hanging on for second here, but Jackson CarCO in car number 225 not letting Rob Marcon get away with this. And as I said, I'll be waiting for a move to come on here very shortly from car number 225 of Jackson CarCO as they get up on 2 wheels over the turn 3 ripple strip on driver's right. And Marcon, a big flash of flame out of the Ford Falcon as he changed down gear into turn number 4. As we go back on board with Tyson Sadler as he exits turn number 1. And he's got 3 cars having a party in his rear vision mirror. It's Vince Ciella, and behind Ciella it would be Adam Koberstein in car number 51 for Hydrolink, and then Rick Gill, who's moved up another spot. So he's gone from 10th to 9th. And it's a great run from Rick Gill. See whether he can get up a little bit further up the grid in race 3 coming up a little bit later on this evening.
My eyes might have been deceiving me then, but I thought Sadler was sideways going through turn 5 on the run down to turn 6. Commitment plus at this time of the night. And you were mentioning the battle between Koberstein and Ciella. Koberstein has been passed by Ciella there. He's up into 7th now. So the charge continues, and that has awarded Sadler a little bit of breathing space with 1:20 on the clock.
Yeah, Jackson CarCO's been able to get over the top of Robbie Marcon to take out second place at the moment, but Marcon's fighting back as they head down into towards turn number 4. And if you look at the front of these cars, have a look at the red glowing brake discs. They're still bright red as they come past me and the commentary box, but on the live feed you can see they are glowing red. They are really using these brakes as they head down into turn number 6. It's still Callow in second place and starting to drive away a bit now from Robbie Marcon. So we pick up with Gary Hills, and Gary's car was really glowing red the last time we caught it coming out of turn number 6. There goes Marcon and Jackson Callow in car number 225. Gary Hills in 93 in the first of the Holden Commodores as they come down into turn number 7 now, hard on the brakes. Who's got the red rotors happening? And it's Robbie Marcon this time that's got the red rotors in car number 82 in third place. Gary Hills in fourth, Brock Bowley in 5, and rounding out our top 6 is Tyson Sadler in the Kmart car.
2 laps to go. We're about to go 15 minutes time elapsed, so we'll be into overtime. 15 minutes plus 1 lap, folks, this and one more. And the scraps continue lower down through the order. And look at Gill getting by Coverstein now as well. And Sadler under pressure from Giella going into turn 1, but yields. And Sadler holds on to 6th. Gill's right there as well, having got past Coverstein. And they're a long way ahead of James at the moment as the duel between Callow and Marcon continues once more, side by side over the hill, over the crest, down towards the final corner. Oh, it's all happening out there at the moment at carco.com.au Raceway. And Mason Harvey, next time by the line, he'll have 1 lap to go. Plenty to be excited about, not just in what's left of this race form, but also, of course, this just whets the appetite for race 3. Harvey in complete control, 2.5 seconds to the good. He's wearing the number 1 for a reason.
Certainly are as they head down into turn number 1 for what could possibly be the second last time. It's the Tribridge car, the Ford Falcon of, we can call him a multiple state champion now in Mason Harvey. Of course, the son of former champion in Clint Harvey. And Clint, a great pedigree. As somebody runs very wide on the entry into turn number 4, right out onto the concrete ripple strip. I think that may be Ken Power again in car number 24. That car not handling the best tonight for Ken for Power Driving Services. As they head down into turn number 6, the Tribridge car doing a great job, some 2.5 seconds in front now of Jackson Callow and Robbie Marcon. Gary Hills and Brock Bowley, 4th and 5th, the first of the Commodores. And then in 6th is Tyson Sadler having a good run in the Kmart car. As we try and pick up, and there they go now, that will be Jackson Callow and Rob Marcon. And how is the red glow coming out of the fronts of these front rotors as they come down into turn number 7 and across the stripe. And Mason Harvey, as checkered flag, he really backed it off because Jackson Callow was very close, and so was Rob Marcon. So maybe an issue on board Mason Harvey's car on that last lap.
And how good was the defence work from Jackson Callow to see off the late challenge of Marcon as well, Vaughan? Checkered flag is out. Race 2 is done. Harvey's 2 from 2. But as you say, he got out of the accelerator late in the piece there. So hopefully that was just a case of acknowledging the judges and going through the motions rather than there being a problem that might plague his progress a little bit later on this evening in race 3. Further back, it was Hills and Bowley and Gill and Sadler making up the top 7. So Gill got by Sadler and Coberstein, and Chiela's fallen back to 9th on the final lap as well.
Yeah, I just realised that Rick Gill went from position 9 and has finished 1 lap later in P6. So an outstanding effort from Rick Gill, and that'll put him on the 3rd row for our last race, which will round out the CarCO Nightmasters here at CarCO Raceway on your Super Saturday night. Hope everybody's enjoying the coverage on our live stream, brought to you by Behind the Sport TV and our friends at Turn 7 Media. Lots more racing to go. One more round of 4 races coming your way, and I believe it will be the XL Cup coming up next very shortly. We'll take a very short break, and we'll cross over to Jamie McCanty very shortly.